So, welcome, friends. Today is February the 1st. It's Tam's birthday. And it's Sunday afternoon here in Thailand. And today's talk is going to be on, well, let's just use the topic of not sure, which is a typical answer that's given around on our Dhamma group, Dhamma friends on Discord. What not sure comes from is that Ajahn Po would say that on a regular basis to me. But in fact, he would walk up out of the blue, almost sneak up on me and just say, not sure, and then leave or walk away. Sometimes also he would say tatata, which is closely related. Now, tatata can be translated as here now. It's often translated out of the old days as thusness, which we would say thisness, and that is also translated as just like that. Now, Achan Cha, so I have heard in recent times, he was famous for going around saying, not sure. And since Achan Cha and Achan Po knew each other, associated with each other, maybe one picked it up from the other. I have a suspicion that Achan Po started it, but I have no evidence. Just the time frame. Back in the early 1980s is when he was using it with me. So let's look into not sure. First off, let's reiterate or talk again about ordinary reality, ordinary culture, mundane life, mundane existence, the way that most people live. And then when the Buddha came along, before that, there was only ordinary reality. And he came in and started looking at noble reality, which is supramundane. Now, supramundane means above, and that often people will confuse supramundane with supernatural. Actually, supernatural and everything about supernatural belongs in the ordinary world, including magic, concepts, belief systems, and all of that kind of stuff that you will find in ordinary culture, including politics, to where in the noble we come out of the ordinary mundane and go into a noble mindset. Within that frame of reference, we can see that it's noble to say not sure, where in ordinary language, a person would say, in my opinion, or I think so. And that basically what we learned from the teaching of dependent origination in Paticca Samuppada is that perception is the act of taking old information that we already have accumulated in memory and stick it with the new senses that we've come up with in the present moment and come up with understanding. Now, I'm being very polite when I say understanding, but that's the goal. The goal is to understand or to make sense out of what we've just seen, heard, felt, touched, tasted, experienced. But a sloppy but very funny way of saying it, instead of saying understanding, we can say they make up a story or they made that shit up. And that the phrase not sure comes in with that whenever we perceive something make sense out of it and understand it, the ordinary mind will think they know. And thinking that they know, they will also think, this is mine. And so, not sure actually cuts through that. Now, Bhikkhu Buddhadasa talked about two kinds of language, and the two kinds of language basically is the ordinary language that he called balloon language, and then Dhamma language he called a knife language. And that's why I'm using the phrase cut through. I don't know is one way of saying it, but just not sure is cutting through all of our perceptions, all of our stories, everything that we think is true. So we get out of opinions. Now, ordinary reality is absolutely full of beliefs. Some of the beliefs are thousands of years old. Some of them are 2,000 years old. Some of them are more recent, but people think that they're 2,000 years old. And that because children are taught things by their parents, the children, in fact, all children, we are kind of open and receptive, which means that the child is going to not discriminate between the crap that people tell them and the facts that people tell them. This is basic ignorance, is that when we are born, we are in a basic state of ignorance. And so we take in beliefs and religions and stories that we have been told throughout our lives as if it were fact without, let's say, doing any examination. Now, the whole point of the Noble Dhamma is to examine, to look. So I continued to talk because I was sure that there was internet, and yet little question marks started showing up on everybody. And so not sure. Now it looks like that we've got internet again. So we were talking about God in the sense of whether we know anything or not. And the best thing to say is we're not sure. But one that's a little closer to home would be about rebirth and reincarnation. And some people say there is rebirth, and others will say there is no rebirth. The Buddha used a particular way of talking about rebirth, but most of the people will say, okay, the Buddha taught about rebirth, but then they think that he's talking about something else, talking about not the rebirth of bad habits in the mind. He is supposedly talking about a physical rebirth. But the reality is, nobody knows. Is anybody here sure, one way or the other, that there is rebirth in the into the next life, any reincarnation or not? Does anybody know? Nobody knows. Not only does nobody here knows, but nobody here knows anybody who does know. Nobody knows. Why can't we be honest? Well, in the noble sense, the honesty would be we don't know. Rather than assuming, let us say logically, or what we know about physics, biology, it's impossible. But the reality is that physics and biology may be wrong. We don't know. And so taking it from the perspective of we don't know, or better stated, not sure, one way or the other, is the more noble way of looking at things. But we can apply that to not big, lofty concepts like rebirth and reincarnation. We can apply that, in fact, to almost every thought that you have, because you don't know. That's why we do the investigation. But be careful, if you come to a conclusion to investigation, you may be wrong. You may be right this time. An example would be looking at mine and say, oh, that thought is wholesome. And then you'll think, oh, that thought is wholesome, the next it might not be. You need to continue to look. And so having that idea of not sure is an important way of looking at things. It's also an easy way to disagree with somebody. They'll make some sort of lofty statement, and we can come back with, not sure. We don't know. Maybe that will give them the clue that they should reinvestigate to find out that they too are actually not sure. Now, Ivan has recently said that Ajahn Chah had another phrase, and that other phrase, he says, is no big deal. Is that right, Ivan? You put that out, that Ajahn Chah said no big deal.
Yeah.
All right. No big deal actually fits with tathata very closely, in the sense of, as I said, thusness or thisness or just this. This is what it is. And that when we see some reality and add some of our past memories to it, we'll come up with something important, a big deal. And that Ajahn Chah is pointing at that nothing is a big deal. And if we think it's a big deal, that's an opinion that can be investigated so that we can come back to not sure. In fact, this is something that we can make as a kind of a practice, is going around labeling things as not sure, no big deal. Because in fact, big deals are where bad feelings come from. If you think something is a big deal and then it breaks, you're going to feel bad. But if you think something's no big deal and it breaks, okay, so what? I can handle that. This makes it kind of easy. And so the noble mindset then is something that we're going to cultivate. And so I give you these tools of no big deal and tathata and not sure, so that we can cultivate that attitude over and over and over again. That is no big deal. And a quality of no big deal means that I can handle that. I can deal with that. We can win. But if it's a big deal, then probably the deal is bigger than me. Oh, poor me. Now I'm a victim of a big deal. But the reality is that we made the big up. We made that up. We may make it up like everybody else makes it up, but that doesn't mean everybody's right because they made something up into a big deal. An example would be Donald Trump. Is Donald Trump a big deal? He sure thinks so. How about Putin? Vladimir Putin, is he a big deal? A lot of newscasters think so. The point is, though, is that these people are just people who are, number one, ordinary, and number two, go around making things a big deal where in fact it's not. An example of that is Greenland. Donald Trump has made Greenland into a big deal. And look how many people are suffering because they go along with him thinking that Greenland is a big deal. Now, I ask you personally, has anybody here ever been to Greenland? Is it a big deal for you? If it is, reevaluate, because it's not a big deal. It's not mine. I've never been to Greenland. I don't intend to go. But that's just an example of 20 million different big deals that people make up. And when you stop making stuff up, it can come back to just reality. No big deal. Now, some people talk about ultimate reality. Let's make sure that we're understanding what we mean by ultimate reality, because the definition of ultimate reality can change. An example would be Ajahn Sumedho talks about ultimate reality when he's talking about seeing reality through noble eyes. Ultimately, reality is just reality. But in the ordinary mindset, reality is not just reality, it's a big deal. So ultimate reality is ordinary reality, and ordinary reality is a big deal. Maybe we got a language problem here. What does ordinary actually mean? In the context that I just used, I'm not sure. Everything is subject to language, subject to change. So it's better not to use words like ultimate, because that word ultimate redefines actual reality as some big deal. Ultimate reality, in fact, is not a big deal. That it's a big deal. It's ordinary reality. Am I making sense here? So, if we begin to recognize that these words change depending upon the context, I'll give you this one. People in ordinary life, in the mundane world, every child is told and taught, and sometimes making songs out of it and repeating it over and over again, that this child is special. We grow up thinking that we've been told we're special, we must be special. In other words, this child being told he's special means the child thinks that he's a big deal. And yet, when one comes across the noble Dhamma, we recognize that, oh, we've got 7+ billion people who go around thinking that they're special, that they're a big deal. But I'm willing to, and all the nobles around are willing to accept ordinary reality. I'm nothing special. I'm an ordinary person. Well, if the noble is an ordinary person, what about all of those 7 billion people who think themselves special? Who's ordinary here? Again, we have to recognize that we've got two different languages going. We have the ordinary language, and then we have the noble language. And in that regard, this word ordinary actually swaps places with these two languages. So when I'm speaking of noble language, then we recognize that everything is ordinary. It's no big deal. But in the mundane world, everybody wants to be special. They don't want to be ordinary. They're a big deal. Now, that big deal idea that we're all, each one individually special, is a very quick and easy way to go into unhappiness and suffering. That any two people will come by and say, I'm special. No, you're not special. I'm the special. And now we have an argument based upon nothing at all other than, but if you'll think about it, isn't that what every argument is? Every argument is, I'm special because I'm right, and you're ordinary because you're wrong. And the better way is to say, maybe he's right, maybe he's wrong. I don't care. I don't know and I don't care. And if I don't know and I don't care, I'm the happy one, and everybody else who is special holds arguments, holds positions. They're sure that they're right, and they're the ones who are bound to be unhappy, to be suffering, to not get what they want. So this is where the ordinary life comes from, is by accepting that everything is ordinary. And that makes ordinary life, what was the word that Ajahn Samedo used, ultimate reality. Ultimate reality is ordinary reality when we say it in noble language. And ultimate reality then is an ordinary word that's looking for some sort of special reality that other people don't see. And everyone's out looking for something special. Everyone that is in the mundane world. So one of the main changes then is to start to practice to remember that we're not sure. We don't know. We don't care. Because there's no big deal out there, and there's no big deal in here. And that makes life easy, really, really easy. So those two words that Ajahn Chah was using, no big deal and not sure, is actually code words for the entire teaching of the Buddha. Now, we've got several. The Buddha had one himself. One was dukkha, dukkha nirodha. The one I like is don't worry, be happy. Why? Because almost all dukkha has worry to it. Don't worry, be happy. So we have other ways of talking about the noble Dhamma. And you can sum up the entire Dhamma that the Buddha taught, the liberating noble Dhamma, can be summed up into those two little words, not sure. And we can also bring it into the whole teaching of the Buddha, the noble Dhamma, is in that phrase, no big deal, nothing special. Everything is ordinary, including all of those ordinary people. Now, there are some monks and teachers and Dhamma expounders who talk about that the noble mind can be pure, can be unobstructed, can see clearly, and because he can see clearly, he's better than the ordinary world. Or we can also look at it in the sense that if I think of something, if I have a thought, I made that shit up, especially if I'm making shit up about ordinary people, the mundane life. The reality is that the ordinary life is not better or less or equal. It's just different, not comparison. And so don't compare yourself with ordinary people. Don't compare yourself with noble people. The comparison is looking for who's the big deal. So we begin to not compare. We begin to leave things the way that they actually are. And in that regard, those teachers who talk about that the noble is better than the ordinary world, that's a distinction that needs not be made. That in fact, you could go so far as to say that the world is terrible. The world is a toilet. The world is bad. It's got all kinds of lies and stories and graft and greed and a lot of unhappy, suffering people. Therefore, we should stay away from that. But isn't that just another unwholesome thought? That the world is bad? That's just another unwholesome thought. The reality is that you're not sure. You can find all kinds of different levels of people out there in the world. So it's better not to judge. It's better to have that idea of, I don't know, no big deal, not sure, not mine. I'll introduce another one to you. NMB. NMB means not my business. Not my business actually is exactly the same thing that Ajahn Chah would say when he'd say no big deal. If we make it our business, that means that we've made a big deal out of it. If we don't own things, it's not my business. Isn't that marvelous? If it's not my business, then I can be happy no matter what happens out there. No matter who has what thought, my thought is not my business. No big deal. Not sure. That stays in that noble framework. But if we go around saying nobles are better than ordinary people, isn't that a comparison? Isn't that actually an ego trip? In fact, you could go so far as to say when somebody says that noble is better than ordinary people, that statement is an ordinary statement. So when you think that nobles are better than ordinary people, you just had an ordinary thought. That's not a noble thought. But when you have thoughts like, oh, no big deal, I'm not sure, not my business, then they can stay at the level of noble thoughts. And we need to practice these noble thoughts over and over and over again. Why? Because it'll keep us out of a lot of trouble, save us a lot of misery, not creating a bunch of shit. And let those who want to, nobles and otherwise, create all the shit they want. But it's not mine. Ivan, what do you have to say about this?
Reminds me again be in the world but not of the world. I think that's the saying.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a way of saying it. Because it's not my world. In fact, it depends upon being in the world but not of the world. If you'll notice, there is a slight difference or a change in the definition of the word world there.
Yeah.
It's not the same world. The world that we're in and the world that we're of are two different worlds. Or they're the same. I'm not sure.
Not my monkeys, not my circus, right?
Yeah, not my monkeys, not my circus. That's exactly right. That's a noble thought. So, Catherine, what do you think?
It makes a lot of sense to me, but I still have like opinions, you know? If I see
Maybe you'll stop.
but if I see bigotry and, you know, unpleasantness in the world, I feel like I should gently try to correct that. I do sort of want to stand up against things like bullying and fascism. Should I just not stand up?
All right, I've got a story to tell you. This is a story of Uncle Remus. Does anybody know who I'm talking about when I'm mentioning Uncle Remus? Those of you who are not Americans or from the South will not know. All right. Uncle Remus was a set of stories that were taught, and that actually Disney made a movie out of it. And the name of the movie was Song of the South, and it became banned. It became racist and banned shortly after it was made, and it has not been ever shown, hardly ever, in a movie theater. Now, the situation is this. Uncle Remus is a black man, and Uncle Remus taught his own Dhamma. Let us say not his own Dhamma, but he taught the Dhamma, the real noble Dhamma. He taught it in 1840s Southern style. And he taught a bunch of stories, and the stories that he taught had three main characters: Brer Rabbit, Brer Fox, and Brer Bear. Now, Brer Rabbit can be seen as the greedy one. Burr Fox can be thought as the angry one, and Burr Bear can be thought of as the stupid one. Greed, ill will, and ignorance. There's your second noble truth built right into Uncle Remus tales. So the story is the story that I'm telling you now is about Brer Fox and Brer Bear ran across some extra over residue tar, and they created a tar baby. You can hear the racism right there. They created a black tar baby and set it beside the road, knowing that Brer Rabbit would be going down that road. And so Brer Rabbit, when he passes the tar baby, it says, "How's y'all?" And the black tar baby didn't say anything. And so, greedy as he was, he wanted a response. And so Brer Rabbit comes back and says, "I says, how's y'all?" No response. And so he got kind of angry. And he went up and he started confronting this tar baby. And pretty soon he hit the tar baby really hard with his right fist. He just goes right in. Well, guess what? Now his paw is stuck in the tar baby. Hear this, Catherine? His fist is stuck in the tar baby. So he gets really mad and tries to pull it out, and he pushes on it, and he puts the other fist in, and it goes in deep, and he's got both front paws stuck in the tar baby. He then kicks him once and kicks him twice, and now Brer Rabbit is all balled up in this tar baby. The tar baby doesn't even look like a tar baby anymore. It's just a bunch of tar that's all over per rabbit. And the rest of the story is that they're going to eat him. They're going to fry him and boil him and eat him. And he says, "Oh, you can do anything you want to me, but please don't throw me in that briar patch." This is the story of the briar patch, by the way. And Brer Fox and Brer Bear decide that if Brer Rabbit is so afraid of the briar patch, maybe that's what we'll do to him. And so they picked him up and they threw him into the briar patch. And first thing that happened, he said was, "Ouch! Oh, this hurts! Oh, poor me!" And then he started howling with laughter, you see, because that was his home. The rabbit lives in the briar patch. And so they mistakenly let him go. So the reason that I'm telling this story is not about the briar patch, but it's the fact that here you have all of this stuff, Catherine. You've got tar babies all over the place. Don't get stuck into them. It's not, the tar babies of the world are not your business. Does that make sense for you? You remember this tar baby story the next time that you want to go fix somebody or fix something.
It does make sense. But there's definitely a part of me that just wants to maybe try and stand up for what I think is right, or try to vote in the right way,
But
you know?
then immediately have the noble thought of seeing that part of you getting stuck in the tar baby. Oh, it's dangerous to get stuck in the tar baby. Because Brer Fox and Brer Bear are standing by, just waiting for you. Your own ignorance, your own stupidity, and your own ill will are there to make you feel bad if you start hitting on that tar baby. This is why I gave you that story, not my business. And here you are saying, "Yeah, well, what about that? I think it's bad, therefore it's my job to fix it." See, you become ordinary. You become part of the world. You're in the world and of the world when you're trying to fix the world. Have you ever fixed the world before? Have you ever done it?
I think I might have fixed a few very small things.
Yeah, but did you get stuck in those even small things?
I don't think so. Not really. I just, I don't really care, and it's not that deeply affecting. But I just,
No big deal, huh? Just
yeah,
all
it's
right.
no
So
big
that
deal. But, but I don't know. There's definitely part of me that wants to try to do a little good here and there.
Mhm.
I mean, I have
That's
a
your old
question.
habit.
Yeah.
Isn't it like, I mean, let's say I see somebody killing somebody else, right? An extreme example.
And you want to go get killed too. I got you. I'm listening.
Well, I mean, I think it's like about whether or not I get entangled in that, because it's not my business to fix somebody else. But still, I can say, oh, well, state my opinion that that might not be right. But if I get entangled in it and say like, okay, it's my business to fix this person or that person or to make things right, that's where the problem arises, isn't it?
Mhm. But isn't that something that you have been taught your whole life through ordinary language, through ordinary society, through the mundane world? And it invites you back into the ordinary life, the mundane world. Now, I know that there's a phrase that the Christians use often, and that is, what would Jesus do? Well, Jesus did quite a lot of stuff. He wrecked the temple, for one thing. But here, let's ask the question, what would Buddha do? Anybody sure they know what Buddha would do?
Can I answer?
Ivan, what would Buddha do?
I want to answer.
He would respond to what he sees in the moment. That's what I.
But maybe he would take a hike. Maybe
That
he
too.
would say, not my business.
I think he gonna walk past them.
Hmm. So the question, Joseph, you have the idea that if you can stop one murder, you can stop them all. Can you stop all of them?
No.
Can you stop one? Do you go around with a gun and somebody's pointing a gun at somebody else? Do you have a gun to point back at them? Probably not. Maybe it's a good idea to remind yourself that that situation is not your business. Then, in fact, even a better way of looking would be if you know that that neighborhood has people going around with guns pointing them at other people, maybe that's not the right neighborhood to be in. That the Buddha actually talked about it in this sense. There was a time, uh, there's four situations: drought, famine, pestilence, and war. And the Buddha says if there is a war, stay out of it. Not just stay out of the war, but stay out of the territory that the war is in. If you're in a famine, if there is hunger, the best thing to do is to stay out of it. I mean, why would you go around alms round begging for people who don't have any food? It's better to go someplace else and leave those poor people alone. So, with those 4 items: pestilence, war. Pestilence and disease would be the same thing. Depends upon how big the bug is. So, if there is, let us say, a COVID outbreak, the best thing to do is to stay away from it. To not go there. So, if that's the situation, and in fact, let me ask you this. When was the last time you saw somebody holding a gun on somebody else about to murder him?
In a movie.
Aha! So you made that shit up.
Yup.
Yeah, all right. Caught you. Ha ha. You made that shit up. That's a what if. It's not real. The reality is that you're comfortable sitting in your house. Why can't you have wholesome thoughts of everything is okay, not a problem in the world, there's no murderers, there's no mafia in the room right now. Why is there one in your head right now? That's the way of looking at it from the noble perspective. And that's, by the way, the same thing with you, Catherine, is that you just came on and made a bunch of shit up. And in fact, in the room right there, there's nothing worth fixing. You're okay right now. That those little things that need to be fixed are still in your mind. Maybe those little things don't want to be fixed, and now you're making a big deal out of it. So, this is the distinction between the ordinary world that we all grew up in. And we hold things, let us say about 99% of the thoughts you have are going to be ordinary thoughts until you begin to practice having noble thoughts. And noble thoughts and more noble thoughts and more noble thoughts, and then the world is just ordinary. We don't have to fix it. That all of those murders were thoughts in my head. All of those things that needed to be fixed are just thoughts in the head. They don't need to be fixed. Let's be happy right now. I mean, this is a perfect opportunity. There you are sitting in your easy chair stroking your cat. Why don't you be happy right now? Why are you thinking about trying to fix stuff? So that's the way of looking, is come back to the noble. Remember, this is the practice that you have an opportunity right now to throw out the unwholesome thoughts about the world. Remember that the real problem with the world is one's own unwholesome thoughts about the world. The world's just fine all by itself. It doesn't need your help. But when you go to intervene, you want to strap on your pistol and wear your cowboy hat and you stomp out there and you fix the bad men. And you wind up maybe hurting yourself and somebody else. It's better to leave things alone. Amrit, what do you have to say?
Can you my internet is very bad, so I could not get most of the
I
talk.
can hear you.
Get the main part, and that is not sure.
Not
And that's
sure.
that's a good practice.
Right.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Not sure about those murderers. Not sure about those little things that need to be fixed. Just not sure. Let's not make a big deal out of it. Let's remember to keep rephrasing those things. Not sure, no big deal. That's just how it is. Not my business. And we'll have a happy life if you keep having those kind of thoughts over and over again. But as soon as
Yeah.
you say, yeah, but what about, What about this? What about that? You're actually just bringing unwholesome thoughts into your mind, trying to solve problems that actually right now don't exist. So you can stay,
Yeah.
Amrit, with that. I don't know. Not my business. Not sure. I don't have to fix anything. Then, in fact, Catherine, when she says, I want to fix just little things, that's because she's judging those things as bad and she wants to fix them. And she didn't even ask, hey, do you want to be fixed? So,
Yeah. Also not
Amrit, what
sure
do you think?
translate. I say also not sure translate into keep looking.
Mm-hmm. Keep looking, keep investigating. If you look and come to a conclusion, you need to keep looking. Don't
Exactly. I
come
think
to
not
a
sure can
conclusion.
also be taken. It can also be taken as in a lazy way. Not sure, and then you go to sleep. But not sure can also be taken as like
And take a rest, exactly.
yes, energize and take a rest and keep looking the next thought.
Uh-huh. So, Mr. Ben, what do you think?
Yeah, thanks, Dhammarato. Yeah, can be okay with being okay right now. There's nothing else that needs doing. Don't need to
No need to
make
do
up
a thing.
stories.
Correct. Yeah, I knew that I wouldn't be able to catch you. Caught Catherine, but I can't catch you. So, Timo, what do you think?
Yeah, it's nice to be not sure. It doesn't get boring, and when it's done right, it also doesn't get restless. Enjoying the show, as you might say.
Right. Just enjoy the show. We don't have to judge it. We don't have to write a newspaper article being critical of the show. We don't have to close the show down because we don't like it. We could just enjoy the show. So, let me see who's next. Oz, yes, what do you have to say?
Well, I'm not sure, Dhammarato. No, no, I like to enjoy the show, and I think I often become a film critic of my own life, and I think being a film critic sounds like the most miserable profession I can imagine, and yet I become a film critic
Wasn't
of
there a
my own life.
cartoon character? There was a cartoon character at one time, a whole series of cartoons, and he was a film critic, and he was one of the most miserable people. In fact, the films that he was most critical of were the ones that he was making up in his head.
Exactly, and so I think I don't need to be a film critic. I can just enjoy the film.
hmm
Hmm.
So, Paul, what do you have to say?
I was reflecting on how, like, the word reality or world is quite different when it comes to ordinary language, versus it's a lot more simpler and easygoing when it comes to Dhamma language. But have to keep remembering that, can keep dropping the stories that were built and keep coming back to the reality in the sense of what is just coming through the six sense doors in this moment. And that's much easier to look at and practice on rather than the stories that is usually associated with reality of the world. Thank you for the talk.
Precisely so. Yes, okay. Robert Q, what do you have to say?
Thank you, Dhammarato, for the talk and for the suggestion training. Not sure. I am still struggling. I mean, I can understand that you don't think about things you want to fix. I struggle with the current situation. Like right now, something is not okay, and I don't think it's the right way to just go away and let things happen, let people suffer. I mean, in the present moment, if I'm there, I should help,
But
right?
you might, well, maybe you'll make them suffer worse. And for sure, you might, in fact, we're talking about compassion. We had a long talk yesterday about compassion. And that is that the best way to handle a situation is for you to not lose your noble mind. Keep your smile on. Invite them out of their misery rather than joining them in their misery. You're making the point of they're broken.
Yeah.
Without even checking it out. You didn't go and ask them, oh, do you want me to fix you? Because more than likely they'll say, no, thank you.
Yeah, that's okay. But I mean, an actual situation where I don't know, that somebody is being bullied, I don't know, you make something up that can happen in the real world. You just bystand there by accident. And then it's isn't it the duty to then just, if you have the possibility, to just help?
Well, maybe what you can do in a situation like that, you gave us enough information about someone is being bullied and you're a bystander. Why don't you go bystand closely?
Yeah.
Just go stand with the person who's being bullied with a big smile on your face.
Yeah.
That's enough intervention. But if you
Okay, I just wanted
engage
to
with
hear
the bully,
intervention is okay.
pardon?
I just wanted to hear that intervention is okay and not anything. I should walk
Don't
away and be
intervene. That's
happy.
the
Oh,
whole
not my
point.
problem. Bye.
Don't intervene. Just stand close by. Lend your moral support with a smile. Go stand next to the child that's being bullied, but don't engage the bully. So don't intervene. That's the whole point. Don't intervene because it's not your business, but you can go and silently just stand there. That would change the dynamic completely.
That's an intervention, yeah.
If you want to use the word that way, okay. It's okay
I
with
don't
me
walk
that you've
away.
got to
That's
do.
the difference.
Yeah,
I
don't
don't
walk
take a
away.
hike. I stay there in the situation.
All right. So we have a solution to the bully. By the way, where's the bully and where's the victim? Are they something that you just made up?
In this moment, of course.
Of course, exactly. So right now, there is no bully. Right now, there is no intervention. Why do we keep making up problems and stories and say, yeah, but what about this and what about that? There are 3 of you already that's done that today.
Yeah, we're just seeking guidance on how to do the right thing.
Well, yes, but what about you having the murderer? And what about Catherine having the bully? And what about Joe having the little things? And just swap around. That way, none of it is really any of your business at all. That's the whole point is that the problem is almost never a real problem. Almost always the problem is a what if that we just made up. Planning for the future. Then, in fact, when was the last time that you were there with a bully bullying a child?
Yeah, no, you're completely right. But it's always this conceptual thing that comes up, right? What if such a situation happens? How should I behave?
The answer to
And that's
that
why it's
is
coming up.
the situation. Look at the situation that just came up in your mind. Be here now. It's ordinary to plan on the future about, well, what will I do in that particular situation? And guess what? That situation never happened before, and it'll probably never happen in the future. So that's
Okay.
the ordinary way, is planning on how to fix something that might be broken in the future. And the noble way is to see those thoughts right here, right now, and says, there's no bullies right now. There's no murderers right now. There's no little things to fix right now. Everything is already okay. Let's enjoy that. Let's get our minds in a really nice state, so that we can keep the mind in that nice state in case something does come up that none of the three of you have invented. Something new. And then you can smile and not intervene. So, Ipa, what do you have to say? Welcome, friend. The screen keeps moving around. I have to look at her. So, Ipa, are you there? Ipa. Ipa.
Oh, they're talking in the text chat.
What'd she say?
She said, "Hi, sorry, there's a lot of background noise." Yes, there's a lot of background noise here.
Okay. So does she have something to say about the talk?
Okay, she's typing here. So it'd be better if I talk here, she says. She's typing now.
Okay.
She says, "I just joined."
Yes, I can tell.
Okay. She's typing something else now. She says, "I don't quite know the topic."
That's a good answer, is it?
I don't know.
Not sure.
Good rap. Good talk. All right. So, oh, Vitamins, good to see you again. What do you have to say?
Hi. My
Hi.
life is my own.
Pardon?
My life is my own.
Mikey, what'd
That's
she
what
say?
comes to mind.
It sounded like my life is my own.
Are you sure?
I'm not, but it makes me think I'm not responsible for other people's lives.
That's for sure. So maybe the only
But
thing that you are responsible for is your happiness.
yes,
Your joy. Yes. So let's have some joy.
I also have something else came to mind is that at work, I started a new job and I'm being bullied basically because I'm the lowest in position. And what happened is I kept to myself, kept a smile and kept my kindness, and they didn't get involved, but other people got involved for me, and the matter got better. And now I'm thinking if they did this for me, if this comes again where I have a higher power position, well, I would want to do that back for someone in a lower position. And I would like to know what you think.
Maybe if it worked for you in this case, it'll work next time in whatever imagination that you have about what happens in the future. Keeping the smile and remaining silent may be workable there too, just like it is right here. Don't worry, be happy. Even if the situation that you haven't invented yet does come up, do you have that smile? Do you have that joy? That's the whole teaching of the Buddha, is get that noble attitude that whatever it is, it's not your problem. The only job you've got is to be happy. What do you think about that? The only job you've got is to be happy.
Thank you.
Fabian, what do you have to say?
Hello, Dhammarato, and everyone. Thank you very much. I am enjoying this talk. Reminds on how little control I have, and probably none over the outcome. Some interventions. But actually, just wanted to clarify if I understand. So, spur of the moment, responding to inner spark that, I don't know how to call it, is, let's say I'm hungry, so I will eat something that kind of need in a way, make me intervene, and that would be the factor, if I understand, to
yes,
to do something,
to get the body to be comfortable. But the important one is to recognize that most hunger is not in the belly. Most hunger is in the mind. And so when the mind is hungry, let's feed it happy thoughts, joy. Everything is all right now. Not a problem in the world. Everything is okay. Let's keep practicing that over and over and over again. That almost all hunger is in the mind.
Thank you.
So, Giannis, you've been in and out. Do you have anything to say?
No, thank you, Dhammarato. I just rejoined, so I didn't hear much.
Right. So, Krishna, how many friends do you have on the call now?
Well, there's like 3 of us, but 2 are somewhere else. 5 in total. I don't know. 5? No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in total. Yeah. Does anyone here have any questions that I can only relay because they can't hear you? About not intervening, for example.
Yes.
I had an idea, basically, because I can see that it would be selfish to intervene if nobody asks you for it. But then what if someone does ask you to intervene?
Well, that's a bit different. Nobody said anything about actually asking. Be sure to clarify what it is that they're asking. And always the best response is at least to smile. At least a happy attitude is all that you can offer for some things. So one thing that we can repeat over and over again is that intervening is something that ordinary people do in ordinary situations, and they wind up getting themselves muddy because they're trying to help people get mud off, or they're slinging mud. You can't sling mud unless you use it and get yourself muddy. You can't stop a mud fight without getting muddy. The noble doesn't intervene. That's what makes him noble. Don't try to fix things that aren't broken. Does that make sense for you guys, Krishna? Okay, we got one person left. 23 Will. Is that RJ?
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, great talk. Really enjoyed it. Not sure about a lot of it. But I was just thinking a lot about Thich Nhat Hanh in the Vietnam War, and how he did good things there, and also Ajahn Chah and his community. Just wonder what your thoughts are on those.
That's actually a very good example. What did Thich Nhat Hanh do about the American war in Vietnam? They call it the American War. It's only in America they call it the Vietnam War. Did you know that? So what did Thich Nhat Hanh do about the American War? He moved to France. That's what he did. He left. He did exactly what the Buddha recommended. Don't stay in a war zone. So, Sheep, you have something to say? Do you
Yes,
have a smile
Dhammarato.
for us?
I could smile. Well, I feel like there's something missing from your talk with Robert. Yes, we talk about like right now everything is safe, everything is fine. Yeah, I agree on that. It's just that sometimes shit happen, like maybe you in a car and it's about to crash and stuff like
But
that.
right now, you're not in a car. You're not about to crash. Can you be here
I
now?
agree. Yes,
Okay,
right now
so
it's good.
let's stay. You're not in a car right now. You're here you are. Let's stay in the present moment. And if
It
you're in a
just
car and you're paying attention, maybe you're not about to crash. Maybe you're just in a car.
yeah,
So
okay.
again, I recommend stop making shit up.
Well, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, let's stop making shit up. You got no problem. Nobody right now has a problem. No one. Well, I'm not sure about that. But here.
I mean,
Because there's a lot of people out there making up all kinds of problems. All
mhm.
right. So,
So
Mikey,
what do you do when problem comes?
you recognize that you just made that shit up. That's what you
Like
do.
what we do when the problem actually come,
There's
just
no
yeah,
actual problem. You made it up.
that's
And when you begin to recognize that every problem you ever had, you made it up. including you're in a car and the car crashes. Now, are you going to make up a bunch of shit about that? Or are you just going to say, oh, the car crashed? Maybe,
maybe
the car crashed and you broke a leg. Now you can say, oh, the leg is broken, but I'm okay. Let's not make up problems. Let's live in reality.
I think I found a way to let the people around me talk to the stream, if you still have some time.
All right, go ahead.
Hold on, give me a second. Okay, and is this working? Might not work. No, I don't think. No, I don't think it's working.
Well, that's all right. That's not a problem.
Nope.
Ivan, stop laughing at me. I'm not your problem. Okay, Krishni, are we finished? Or you have something more?
I guess that's it. I'll try to fix the audio next time. It's okay.
All right.
Not a big deal.
Not a big deal. Exactly. Mikey, this is not a big deal. Up to you. You're not my business.
Yeah, friends, welcome to stay on. Dhammarato's gonna get out of here in a moment. But yeah, you guys are welcome to stay on. If you have any lingering questions or something you'd like to share about the practice, this is a great place to sort of talk about that or listen to others talk about that, share on their own practice. And we invite you to, throughout the week, come into the Hangout channel and make some friends. Every once in a while, someone will come into the Hangout channel here on the Dhamma Friends Discord, and then somebody else will show up. And before you know it, people will be talking about the Noble Dhamma for many hours, and it's really nice to see this sort of thing. So yeah, please stay on. And if you're watching this on YouTube, if you'd like to join us on Discord, check out the link in the video description. So yeah, you can also find these talks on iTunes, Spotify, and other podcasting platforms. And we invite you to check out OpenSanghaFoundation.org. There's many resources there, such as books about Buddhadasa, talks by Ajahn Dhammavidu. We also have a Sangha map that you can check out as well. So yeah, thanks friends for being here today. And remember, don't worry, be happy. Take care and take it easy.
One last thing, and that is that every week we have, or every video, we have 200, 300, 400 people watch the video and nobody makes a comment. And when I see videos with no comments, you know how I feel about that. So to help me feel better, please leave a comment, leave a like. In fact, I don't give a rip, but YouTube does. So help all of those people that don't see the video by making a comment. So Paul, are you going to start making comments on the videos on YouTube?
Shall do.
All right. How about you, Timo?
Been thinking about it a lot, and but also sometimes it also did happen. There have been comments from my channel or whatever it's called.
Okay. Yes, I invite you to leave comments. If you're watching this video on YouTube, leave a comment. More than likely, if you were watching this video, you turned it off before it was finished anyway. So you didn't hear what I had to say. Never mind. Not my problem. Ivan, I really enjoy your smile. You too, Captain. Paul, you got a nice cheery smile. All right, thank you guys very much. I really appreciate it. And I'll leave
Thank
you
you.
now.
Thank you,
But
Dhammarato. Take care.
don't leave. Stay on
Dhammarato.
the call. Let's talk about not sure. Let's talk about no big deal. Let's talk about don't worry, be happy. Not my business. All right. See y'all.
See you.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dhammarato. Bye.